A very good evening everyone. Welcome to IAS with Arihant. Student, as you know, every day at 9 PM we are discussing about the Indian polity. And basically this series is called as Prelims Possible because it is totally dedicated for the prelims examination. Those who are going to participate in UPSC examination, as well as this session is going to help you in the state PSC examination students. Okay, so this session is basically based on this book that is called as Prelims Possible, and it is specially published by Arihant. And we are going to start the session, students. Okay, and as you know, students, what we are discussing about the fundamental right, and we already conducted 2 classes on the same topic, students. And today we are going to start with the topic number second, where we are going to discuss about the right to freedom. Okay, so it contains article 19 to 22, and then we'll start the right against exploitation also and freedom to religion also. Okay, so stay tuned. Those who are very new to this channel, please subscribe the channel, press the bell icon, as well as share this video with your friends also. As I called you students, as I told you already, basically the series is called as Prelims Possible, and there are lots of features sorry, basically attached to this session. Okay, what are the features here? So students, this book contain basically what we are discussing here, that is divided into chapters, and that chapters is divided into topics. There is a topical mind map, and this is 100% error free. Explanation is here. There is a knowledge plus for the typical question, and there is a 3500 plus PYQ bullets. Okay, so we are going to discuss, okay, what we'll discuss today, students. We are going to discuss about the right to freedom, that is ranging between article 19 to 22. And as you know, students, fundamental right is included under part 3 of the Indian Constitution, and there's an article range from 12 to 35. We already discussed about the right to equality, and students, this concept we derive from USA, because USA's constitution is the world oldest constitution, and students, what you find, it is a world first written constitution, students. Okay, so we just derive this concept from the same place. Okay, as you see ki, means during the freedom struggle also, the fundamental right was demanded by the freedom, basically the leaders. So in 1931 there was a session in Karachi, and that session was headed by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel sir, and students, basically a resolution was passed for the fundamental right from the same Indian National Congress meeting, students. So what you see, we have how many fundamental right? Initially we have 7 fundamental right, but now students will see now we have 6 fundamental right only. And there was an article 31 that contained right to property. It is now removed by an amendment that is called as 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978, students. And after that, students, after shifting from this right, means this right to property is here, but initially it was a fundamental right. Now it is shifted to part 12 of Indian Constitution under article 300A of the Indian Constitution, students, and now it's became a legal right. Okay, so this is also important. Okay, you must understand the same concept. Okay, I hope you all getting it now, students. So this was done during the time period of there was Prime Minister, the then Prime Minister was Morarji Desai, first non-Congress Prime Minister was there, student. So in the today's session we are going to discuss about the right to freedom, article from 19 to 22, and students, I will give the mind map information, and then we'll start with the MCQs. So article 19 is mentioning about the freedom of speech and expression. Okay, so it's contain multiple basically freedom. So we can read in this format, article 19 clause 1 subclause A. Okay, so it will be read as freedom of speech and expression. So students, under the freedom of speech and expression, there is some important cases also, and what you find, there is another important data that is not written, but yes, it is the part of the same, that is right to information, RTI Act 2005. It is a part of the freedom of speech and expression. And another, students, what you find here, that is right to press or freedom to press. So this is also the part of freedom of speech and expression. After that, Students, anyone, those who are residing in India, they are free to form any basically political party, and so they can create any political parties. They can basically meet for the meetings. They can meet peacefully without any arms. So Article 19 clause 1 subclause B is mentioning about peaceful assembly without any arms. Okay, and there is a freedom to form association, cooperation, cooperative societies. Okay, it is mentioned under Article 19 clause 1 subclause C, students. And then you can move freely throughout the territory of India, and it is included under 19 clause 1 subclause D, students. And in the same format, students, there is Article 21 is also here. If we talk about the foreign country, okay, so let's suppose someone want to go abroad. So in that case, is it your right? Yes, it is a freedom right. So it is basically read with the Article 19 clause 1 subclause D with the Article 21, students. Okay, and you have freedom to reside in any part of India. Okay, Article 19 clause 1 subclause E. And then, students, there is an article, that is Article 19 clause 1 subclause F, that was discussing about right to property once again. But as you know, okay, there was right to property, it is removed. Okay, it is removed from Article 19 clause 1 subclause F, students, plus it is removed from the Article 31 of Indian Constitution, and it was shifted to under Article 300A, and now it is a legal right. Initially it was a fundamental right, students. Okay, what you see, students, there was Article 19 clause 1 subclause G. Okay, so this is for the means everyone is free to do any type of business, profession, and they can follow any occupation, but there is a condition: this must not be illegal. Okay, so if you are doing a legal business, then you are allowed to do the same, student. So this is under Article 19. Okay, and these are the clauses of the Article 19, students. Okay, if you see Article 20, students, this is about the protection in conviction for any offense, protection in respect of conviction of any offense. So, students, there is majorly 3 provision, and it is mentioning about, let's suppose it is your freedom, no one can going to arrest you without any cause, without breaking law. So Article 19 or Article 20 clause 1 is mentioning about no ex post facto. Okay, what does it mean, students? No conviction except for violation of law in force. So let's suppose I am doing any activity and it is not breaking any law, so I am not going to be convicted. Okay, when I did something and at that time it was not a crime, then I am not going to be punished. So it is called as no ex post facto, students. I hope you all getting it. Okay, easy. Okay, okay. Now, no punishment for same offense more than once means a person cannot be punished twice for a same crime. Let's suppose I killed someone and I got punishment for 5 years, and when I came back after completing my punishment, then police official not going to convict me, or he's not going to arrest me for the same activity. But let's suppose I'm going to do once again, then I'm going to be punished once again, students. Okay, so this is called as no double jeopardy. I hope you're getting it. Now, students, there is a basically third, that is called as no self-incrimination. Okay, so no self-incrimination means no person is going to be compelled to accept or give evidences against himself, what he did or what he not did. Okay, then we have Article 21, students, that is protection of life and personal liberties, and there was an amendment, that is 86th Constitutional Amendment Act year 2002, and what you find, students, at that time right to education was included under Article 21A of Indian Constitution, students. Along with that, students, there was one more update was done, that was in Article 51 Clause A subclause K, students. Okay, so here one thing was added, that is duty to education. Okay, so this is a few points that you need to remember. Then we have Article 22, so protection against arrest and detention. So but there are some reasonable restriction also, so we'll discuss about that also. It is implemented in Article 19 also, as well as in other Article 2. One very important thing, students, Article 20 and 21, okay, it never be suspended. In any condition, it is never be suspended. As well as Article 19 is the first article, if national emergency is going to be declared, then it is going to be suspended. So if by Article 352 national emergency declared, then Article 358 is going to be declared. So it's mentioned that Article 19 is going to be suspended, students. I hope you are getting it. And see, but there is a condition. As you know, there is a means two way when the national emergency can be imposed. So external aggression or war condition, and students, there is another thing, that is armed rebellion. Okay, armed rebellion. So basically this Article 19 can only be suspended during the war condition, not in the armed rebellion, students. So this is also very important, and this concept is also included here, and we'll see question on the same concept. So let's start with the question, and if you feel doubt, you all are free to ask any question, students. Okay, so the first question on the screen is here. It was in Uttarakhand, and students, already Uttarakhand PSC application released, so you guys can go for the same also. Okay, everyone. Okay, so now we are going to see what? Now we are going to see the MCQs, and if you feel doubt, just tell me. Now, in which article the fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression is provided in the Constitution of India? Now, in which article fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression is provided in the Constitution of India? Freedom of speech and expression. It is Article 14, Article 19, Article 21 and Article 22, students. So as you know, basically there is a right to freedom that is ranging between Article 19 to 22. Article 19 is about the right to equality, okay, and it contains what? Equality before law and equal protection of law. Equality before law and equal protection of law. Then we have Article 19 here, and this is mentioning about freedom of speech and expression. Article 21, it is about the right to life, or means freedom to life and personal liberties. Article 22 about the arrest and detention. Okay, so if you see the option, what you find, students, basically fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression is provided in the Constitution of India under Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, students. So if you see this, B option is going to be right for the same. I hope you all getting it. If you feel any doubt, students, I told you multiple times, you all are free to ask any question. Now we are going to discuss about the explanation part also. As I already told you, this book is here, and this session is basically based on the same book, and this book has lots of features we already discussed, and a very unique feature, that is explanation of each and every question. So explanation is also going to help you in the answer writing. Okay, it is going to help you in the concept building as well as in the mains examination. Along with that, students, it is also going to help you in the mains examination, because you'll get the concept and you're going to write the same thing in the mains paper too. Okay, so if you see answer here, that is B, Article 19. The fundamental right to freedom of speech and expression is provided. Article 19 guarantees to all citizens, okay, it is not available to non-citizen students, means it is only available to citizens, and it contains 6 freedoms. Okay, and these are Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A. We already discussed about the same. So freedom of speech and expression, and students, I already told you, Right to Information Act 2005 is the basically part of this Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A. Along with that, freedom to press is also part for the same, students. After that, you will see 19 Article Clause 1, Subclause B, a right to assemble peacefully and without any harm. Okay, means if there is a condition you are not going to harm anyone, so you can meet. Okay, and it must be without harm, students. So right to form association or unions or cooperative society, it is also included under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause C. A right to move freely throughout the territory of India, it is included under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause D. So you need to remember these all articles, as well as there is an article that is right to reside in any part of Indian territory, that is Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause E. And as already discussed, 19, Clause 1, Subclause F is now removed, and it is extended to Article 300, Clause A, where it is a legal right. And if you see, students, right to practice any profession, occupation, trade or business, but it must be a legitimate business. It must not be illegal business. Okay, everyone. Now see the next question. In the Indian Constitution, the right to freedom is guaranteed by 4 articles, which are right to freedom. So as we already discussed, it is in between the Article 19 to 22. So right to freedom is here. So statement A is going to write for the same. We already discussed, so I am just giving a outline for the same, students. So Indian Constitution, right to freedom is guaranteed by Article 19 to 22, and we already discussed about the this provision. So I'm not going to dive into this explanation part, students. Otherwise, it is going to be a very time-taking process, and we already discussed about the same. Now see the third question. In the context of polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of liberty? So this was in UPSC pre 2019, and see, UPSC always try to ask tricky question from the basic part. Now they are mentioning about the definition of liberty. You will read multiple time liberty, liberty, freedom, liberty, freedom, but now they ask what is the appropriate definition, what is the basic concept of this liberty, students. So I'm going to read the basically statements, and you have to choose the right answer. Protection against the tyranny of political rulers, absence of restraints, opportunity to do whatever one likes, and opportunity to develop oneself fully. So if you go with the most appropriate, students, these all 3 required, but the most appropriate is opportunity to develop oneself fully. Okay, so in every sense, physical, mental, spiritual, in every sense our development is needed. So that's why you need to get this data, students. Okay, so liberty provides for equitable freedom to do what one like without harming the interest of others, and liberty provides an individual opportunity to develop his or her personality by providing a right to free will, expression and occupation, students. Now see the next question, the question number 4. Which of the following statement is not correct? It was in Maharashtra PSC in year 2017. So fundamental right enjoy legal supremacy over the directive principle of state policy. Fundamental right enjoys supremacy over the directive principle of state policy. Now see the statement B. Parliament can amend the fundamental right for implementing the certain directive principle, students. So it mentioning that Parliament can surpass, they can modify the fundamental right to implement the directive principle of state policy. Now Article 19 is suspended during the national emergency, and what they are asking, not correct. Okay, see, Article 19 is suspended during the national emergency irrespective of ground on which this emergency is in force. Article 20 and 21 are basically intact even during the national emergency. So what you find, students, basically Article 20 and 21 both is correct, it never be suspended. If you see basically statement A, so fundamental rights enjoy legal supremacy over the directive principle. So yes, okay, Avnish, maybe some issue is there. So what you find, fundamental right enjoys legal supremacy. Yes, fundamental right is what? It is justiciable or justicable. But directive principle is not enforceable or non-justifiable. Getting it? So this is correct. Parliament can amend the fundamental right for implementing the certain directive principle. Yes, directive principle sometime they are going to surpass the fundamental right. So statement C, it is mentioning about कि Article 19 is suspended during the national emergency. So as you know, students, during the national emergency, fundamental right is suspended. So Article 352 is mentioning about the national emergency, and when national emergency is going to be imposed, Article 358 and 359 is going to be activated. Article 358 says that 19 is going to be suspended, and 359 says that if President want, he can suspend any article of Part 3 except 20 and 21. Another very important thing, students. So national emergency, if we go through the concept, what you see, this is basically in India till the time three national emergency imposed, and there is a two-way, one national, or you can say basically war with any country or foreign attack, and other is internal disturbance. But students, this internal disturbance word was misused during the time period of Indira Gandhi ji in 1975. So when Morarji Desai's government came, so this internal disturbance word was modified with the armed rebellion. Okay, so armed rebellion. So during the time period of armed rebellion condition, national emergency is not going to be suspended. So it is suspended only when there is a foreign attack. So what did it means that, students? So which is not correct? So you'll see statement C is not correct for the same. सर क्लास बाय लाइन गूगल में नहीं चलता, क्लास 5 लैंग्वेज में नहीं चलता. आई डोंट नो अविनाश क्या जानना चाहते हैं आप. कोई ऐसी बात हो तो आप कमेंट में लिखिएगा, डेफिनेटली आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करी जाएगी. ओके, सो व्हाट इट सेज, statement C is not correct because Article 358 provide that freedom guaranteed under Article 19 automatically gets suspended on the proclamation of national emergency on the ground of war or external aggression, but not case of armed rebellion. Okay, this means that the only ground in which Article 19 is suspended is during the external war. Okay, I hope you all getting it. If you see, students, question number 5. So which of the following freedom is not specifically mentioned in Article 19 clause 1 of the Indian Constitution, students? So which of the following is not included under Article 19 clause 1? So freedom of speech and expression, and they are mentioning that this is not specifically mentioned. It is under Article 19 clause 1 subclause A. Right to freedom of press, students. It is written anywhere? There is a specific article for the same? No, it is the part of the freedom of speech and expression. Now you have freedom to, you can move freely throughout the territory of India, 19 clause 1 subclause D, students. Okay, now freedom to assemble peacefully without arm, 19 clause 1 subclause B, students. So what you see, the freedom of press, it is not included, okay, directly. Okay, so it is written in direct format, students. So this is also important. You must see in the same manner कि you are going to choose the right answer for the same, students. Easy. So just see the explanation part also. So freedom of press is not officially mentioned in Article 19 of Indian Constitution, but it is an intrinsic part of the right of freedom of speech and expression under Article 19 Clause 1 of the Indian Constitution, students. So in Ramesh Thapar versus State of Madras and in Brij Bhushan versus State of Delhi case, Supreme Court held that freedom of press is an essential part of the right to freedom of speech and expression. So this is another very important data that you must remember. Now see the next question. Reasonable restriction on the freedom of citizen recognized under Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A of the Constitution can be imposed in interest. Okay, very reasonable restriction. Okay, so restriction can be imposed. So for the sovereignty of the country, for the integrity of the country, for the security of the country, for the interest of general people. Okay, so what you see, students, basically for the security of country, it is needed, they can create any type of restriction. For the sovereignty of the country, this restriction can be valid, and integrity of the country, it is valid, but for the interest of general public, it is not going to be valid, students. So what you see, students, it is basically means option 3, which is including 1, 2 and statement 3 are correct. So this is going to be correct for the same. Now just see the explanation part. So reasonable restriction on freedom of citizens recognized under Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A of the Constitution can be imposed in the interest of sovereignty of the country, integrity of the country, as well as security of the country, students. So Clause 2 of Article 19 provide the state can make any law which imposes reasonable restriction on the exercise of rights conferred in the interest of the sovereignty and integrity of India. So the security of the state, public order, decency or morality, or in relation to contempt of court, defamation or basically incitement to an offense, reasonable restriction are said to be important to make fine balance between individual liberty as well as social control. So restriction is needed, otherwise you are going to do anything. Okay, you are going to demand for anything. So this is very, very important. Now this question was in Chhattisgarh PSC 2013 pre-paper. Now see the 7th question. So on the basis of which of the following ground a citizen's freedom of expression may not be subjected to restriction? So on what ground basis it is may not be subjected to restriction? Means restriction can be imposed, but which of the following is not causes the restriction on your freedom of expression? So sovereignty of the country we already discussed, public order, contempt of court. So these all are the thing where reasonable restriction can be used, but unbecoming criticism. Okay, so this is not the way. Means to avoid criticism you can't stop the freedom of expression. Let's suppose we are going to discuss about, means there is electoral bond also. So as electoral bond including lots of names. Okay, so if press is going to be gagged, means they are not going to write anything. As well as let's suppose someone going to basically restrict your freedom of expression to unbecoming criticism, in that case also it is gag of the fundamental right. So this subject is not included under the restriction, students. So I just added here, means we just added in the explanation part, citizens' freedom of expression may not be subjected to restriction on the basis of unbecoming criticism. Rather, it is protected by right to freedom of expression as enshrined in Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A, students. So this right is subjected to reasonable restriction by the state, which are given in Article 19 Clause 2, students. Okay, so reasonable restriction can be imposed in the interest of sovereignty of the country, integrity of the country, as well as security of the state, as well as friendly relation with the foreign state, public order, democracy or morality, or in relation to contempt of court, defamation and incitement of an offence, students. Now see the next question. It was in Bihar PSC And this is the 8th question, students, of this chapter topic. Supreme Court has held that hosting the national flag atop the private building is a fundamental right for every citizen under which of the following. So students, if you are hosting a national flag, it means that you are expressing what you are expressing, your patriotism. Okay, so if it is your freedom, it is a freedom of speech and expression. So automatically it is going to be part of the Article 19 clause 1. So statement B means option B is going to write for the same. Article 14 is about right to equality. Article 21 is basically freedom to life and personal liberties, students. 25 is for the religion. So 19 clause 1 subclause A is connected for the hosting the flag on the top. So there is a case also. Okay, so hosting national flag atop of the private building is a fundamental right of every citizens. Okay, under Article 19 clause 1 subclause A of the Constitution. According to Article 19 clause 1 subclause A, all citizens shall have right to freedom of speech and expression. This implies that all citizens have the right to express their views and opinion freely. Hence, hosting of national flag to show patriotism is a fundamental right under this article, according to Supreme Court of India, students. Getting it? So these are some data, just remember it. Now we have the 9th question, that is in JPSC, Jharkhand PSC, in 2013. So as a part of right to freedom, which one of the following does not part of freedom to assemble peacefully without arms? So Gherav officials not performing their duty. Okay, peacefully assemble does not form part of freedom of assemble peacefully without arm. So people who assemble should not bear arm. State can make law imposing reasonable restriction on the exercise of this right, students. Okay, so what is going to be right answer for the same? Gherav official. Okay, Gherav. So what you see, these all three are the part of freedom to assemble peacefully without arm, but Gherav official not performing their duty, it is not going to be part of the same. So if you see student explanation, as a part of right to freedom, Gherav officials not performing their duty does not part of freedom to assemble peacefully without arm. So students, it is unlawful. Okay, so under section 141 of IPC, an assembly of 5 or more person become unlawful if they threaten the government or its officials on exercising unlawful duties, students. So what you see, Article 19 clause 1, okay, you are free, means there is a B also, you are free to assemble peacefully without arm. Okay, and it includes the right to hold the public meetings, demonstration, and take out processions. Okay, so this is one thing, just remember it. Now students, just see the next question, and this question number 10. Under which one of the following right is available under Article 19 clause 1 subclause D, and it article read with the Article 21, students. Article 19 clause 1 subclause D is about the freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India. So you are free to move in the territory of India, as well as Article 19 is about the personal freedom as well as liberty. So right to travel abroad, right to shelter, right to privacy, right to information. So it is about the movement. So if you see, if someone want to go abroad, then it means that is mentioning about your freedom. Okay, so there is a case also. So Article 19 clause 1 subclause D is going to be read with the Article 21. Okay, so here the explanation part, Article 19 clause 1 subclause D guarantees the right to move freely throughout the territory of India. It ensures that every citizen has right to move freely within the country, live in any part, and acquire property or carry any occupation, trade, business anywhere within the territory of India. So this article primarily addresses internal movement and residence within the nation. Now Article 21 is about the Indian Constitution guarantees right of life and personal liberties. Over time, the Supreme Court of India has basically interpreted this article extensively to include various aspects related to personal liberty, including the right to travel abroad. Okay, so the court has held that right to travel abroad is encompassed within the ambit of personal liberty under Article 21. So and it is subjected to reasonable restriction, and it can be imposed by law students. I hope you all getting it. Easy. Okay, great. Any doubt? No? Now see the next question. Which one of the following factor constitute the best safeguard of liberty in a liberal democracy? It was in UPSC 2021. Following factor constitute the best safeguard of liberty in the liberal democracy: a committed judiciary, students, basically centralization of powers, elected government, or separation of power. So which is the best safeguard of liberty in the liberal democracy, students? If we see, if committed judiciary we have, so judiciary will do the same, it will create the liberty, but if it is going to do the same, there will be concentration of power. That is not good. Centralization of power, if you do, it is also bad for the liberal democracy. Elected government, so if government is elected, they can misuse the power like few governments did previously. And if you talk about the separation of power, so if power is going to be separated, means there is a multiple authority, there will be layering, there will be check and balance. So separation of power is basically used, and it is basically the best factor to safeguard of liberty in the liberal democracy, students. So separation of power constitutes the best safeguard of liberty in the liberal democracy. So the principle of separation of power in liberal democracy divided governance into distinct branches, that is legislative, executive, judiciary, and each has defined role. So this division prevents the accumulation of unchecked authority, fostering a system of check and balances, students. Okay, now see the next question. So an accused of any offense cannot be compelled to be witnessed against himself. Which article of Indian Constitution provide for this? So I'm not going to compelled by the police official or any official to accept basically to accept a crime, and along with that students cannot be compelled to witness against himself. Okay, so where it is included? It is included under Article 20, 21, 22 or 74. So if we talk about students, we already discussed under Article 20 there is a protection in respect of conviction of any offense, and there is a three major provision. One is about no ex post facto, and then we have basically no double jeopardy, and then it is about the no self-incrimination. So no self-incrimination, it is included under Article 20 clause 3 of Indian Constitution, students. So this is very important and very needed. Just try to remember for the same. Now I'm just going to give you basically explanation for the same, students. Article 20 clause 3 grants protection against arbitrary and excessive punishment to an accused person, whether citizen or foreigner or a legal person like a company. Article 20 clause 3 says that no person accused of any offense shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. The immunity under this article does not extend it to the proceeding other than criminal proceeding, students. So this is very important, just remember it. Now see the next question, the question number 13. So which article of Constitution provide safeguard to person accused of crime against the double jeopardy and self-incrimination? Students, I already told you double jeopardy is mentioned under Article 20 Clause 2 and self-incrimination is mentioned under Article 20 Clause 3, and 20 Clause 1 is about the no ex post facto. Okay, no person is going to be punished without breaking any law. So what you find, students, these all will be the part of the Article 20. Okay, so this is also very important, and just take the data. And here the explanation. Article 20 of Indian Constitution provides safeguard to the person accused of crime against the double jeopardy and self-incrimination. According to this article, no person prosecuted or punished for the same offence more than once. If person has been prosecuted and punished in various proceeding of an offence, he cannot be prosecuted and punished for the same offence again in the subsequent proceeding, students. Now this question was in UPSC 2021, very tricky question once again. So which one of the following fundamental right has not been provided to a person? Protection against prosecution and punishment for the same offence more than once, not provided. Or to refuse to give his or her sample of handwriting as evidence to support a prosecution against himself. Okay, it means that as Article 20 Clause 3 says that no self-incrimination, means I'm not going to witness myself. So in that case, students, but let's suppose my hair, my blood sample, my writing, let's suppose it is the part of the evidence, it is the part of the investigation, then I have to provide these evidences. Okay, so act as witnessed against himself, herself, right not to be convicted for any offence except for the violation in force at the time of commission of act charged as offence, student. So what you see, this one is correct. Protection against prosecution and punishment for the same offence more than once. So there is a protection under Article 20 Clause 1. Okay, so no person, 20 Clause 2. Okay, so no person is going to be basically punished twice. Okay, but here if you see the statement B, to refuse to give, you can't refuse. If someone using your handwriting evidence to support the prosecution, then you have to give that, you can't refuse. Okay, and you can't means act to witness against himself. So if you see statement B is very correct for the same students, and it is very easy. But what about the UPSC students? UPSC is an exam and it is a conducting body that creating very tricky paper. The concept is very simple, it is everyone reading the same, it is provided to whom, but here you will get the real concept. Okay, all statements once you read, you'll find that everything is correct, but if you don't know the right concept, then I'm 100% sure not going to choose the right answer. Easy. Now see the basic explanation. Article 20 of Indian Constitution deals with the protection in respect of conviction for offence. It grants protection against the arbitrary and excessive punishment to an accused person, whether citizen or foreigner or a legal person like a company or corporation. So it contains three provisions: no ex post facto law, no double jeopardy, and no self-incrimination, students. I hope you all getting it. Now see the next question that was in Uttarakhand PSC 2016. Question number 15. Which article of the Constitution of Indian Republic relates to the protection of life and personal liberties? Which article of the Constitution of Indian Republic related to the protection of life and personal liberties? Article 19, 21, 20 or 22, students. So Article 19 is about the freedom of speech and expression. Okay. Along with that, students, Article 21 is about the protection of life and personal liberties. Article 20 is connected with the protection in respect of conviction of any offence. Article 22 is about the arrest and detention. So if you see statement B is going to write for the same. Okay, the concepts are very easy. Article 21 of the Constitution of India, Republic relates to the protection of life and personal liberties. Under this article, no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberties except according to procedure established by law. It means that no member of the executive shall be entitled to interfere with the liberty of citizen unless he support his action by some provision of the law. So without law you can't means restrict it. Okay everyone, now see the next question. It was in Uttarakhand, basically Odisha PSC 2023, a very recent question paper. Now, which one of the following statement is correct in respect with the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution? So it guarantees right to life and personal liberties. In the case of Narmada Bachao Andolan versus Union of India, Supreme Court held that right to water is not a fundamental right but a legal right. Statement 3 says that right to water is inferred with the right to life. And basically statement 4 says that Supreme Court also held that access to clear water is a natural right, student. So now you have to choose the right answer for the same. Okay. So which of the following is correct? So if you see, students, guarantees right to life and personal liberties. So this is correct. Okay. In the case of Narmada Bachao Andolan, it was declared that right to water is a fundamental right. Okay, it is a fundamental right. Okay, right to water is inferred from the right, means it is inferred from the right of life or right to life. So this statement 3 is also correct. And Supreme Court also held that access to the clear water is a natural right. No, it is a fundamental right is part. Hello Sky classes, how are you? Okay, so now there is a statements. Okay, means explanation portion is here. Statement 1 and 3 are correct. Article 21 states that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberties except according to a procedure established by law. Okay, so Article 21 secure two rights, right to life and right to personal liberty. Statement 2 and 4 are incorrect because Narmada Bachao Andolan versus Union of India, Supreme Court held that basically right to water is a right to life and thus it is a fundamental right. In the case of Supreme Court stated that state is responsible for providing clean drinking water to the citizen students. Okay, now see the question number 17. I hope you all understanding it. I hope everything is easy. Do you feel any doubt? Okay. Now see the question number 17, and it was in MPPSC. Sorry, it was in Maharashtra PSC year 2013. Which of the following statements are true regarding the fundamental right to practice any profession or to carry any occupation, business or trade by any citizen? So see the statement 1. State may make a law. Which one? Okay, I'm coming to the same point, Sky class, don't worry. So state make a law making it obligatory that citizens should possess appropriate profession, technical qualification for practicing any profession or carry any occupation, trade or business. Okay, so which of the following is true? Citizen can be restricted to carry on any trade, business or services if is being practiced by a corporation owned by a state. Okay, so these restrictions can be put by state only by making a law. And 4 says that the restriction can be imposed by state by administrative order as well. Administrative order means the administrative officer is going to say that just you have to stop it without any law. Okay, so now you have to choose which of the following is correct. Okay, so see this means administrative order is not going to be accepted, but yes, those who are practicing anything, those who are doing anything, it must be legal and they must have experience in the same. Okay, so government can restrict you like they are doing some ONGC, oil and basically oil and natural gas corporation. So basically ONGC doing the same, and means no other organization is allowed to do these things without the permission of government. So this statement 2 is also correct. And 3 is about these restriction can be put only by state by making a law. Without law you can't restrict anything. So if you see students, 1, 2 and 3, these all are correct. So statement C is correct, means option C is correct, and 4 is incorrect. We already discussed about same, why it is not going to be. Administrative order, it must be legal. So administrative order means an official came and he says that you can't do this. So this is not the right way. Okay, now see the explanation part also. Statement 1, 2 and 3 are correct regarding fundamental rights to practice any profession or to carry any occupation, business or trade by any citizens. Clause 6 subclause 1 under Article 19 clause G mention about power of state prescribing qualification to practice any profession. Okay, so let's suppose you want to run a hospital, and without a medical license, without having the medical degree, you started doing surgery. So this is unethical, no? It is unlawful. So this is not allowed. So it state that state may make a law making it obligatory that a citizen should possess appropriate profession or technical qualification for practicing any profession or carry on any occupation, trade or business. Okay, so clause 6 subclause 2 talks about the restriction to carry any trade if practiced by state. Okay, it states that citizen can be restricted to carry on any trade, businesses or service if it is being practiced by corporation owned by state. So these restrictions can be imposed only by and under the authority of law. Okay, so statement 4 is incorrect because restriction cannot be imposed by executive action or administrative order without legal authority, as a right to occupation is a fundamental right. Getting it? Now see the question number 18. Right to privacy is protected under which of the following article of Indian Constitution, students? Right to privacy, it is Article 15. Article 15 is mentioning about the prohibition of discrimination based on the caste, sex, religion, creed and place of birth. Article 19 is about the freedom. Article 21 is about the right to life and personal liberties. 29 is about the minorities right, interest of minorities. So what you see, students, Article 21 of Indian Constitution, it is about the right to life and personal liberties. So if you want to live a dignityful life, then the right to privacy is needed. So state means option C is going to be right for the same. So there was a case named as K.S. Puttaswamy case in 2017. Supreme Court of India held that right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21 of Indian Constitution. This was in UPSC also. Okay, and Article 21 of the Indian Constitution provide protection of life and personal liberties. Supreme Court in its various judgment stated that right to privacy is a integral part of life, right to life and personal liberties, students. I hope you all getting it. Now see the next question, question number 19. It was in Odisha PSC of last year 2023. So which of the following are related to right to privacy? Article 21 of Indian Constitution, Article 12 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 17 of International basically Covenant on Civil and Political Right, Article 8 of European Convention on Human Rights. Student, what you find? Basically these all are the international declaration. Okay, and these all are correct. So you have to remember it and you have to read the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It is available on the internet, just read it. International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, you must read the same because it is going to help you a lot. Yes, it is available to citizen as well as non-citizen students. So what you find, all of these is going to be right for the same. Okay, so I'm just reading explanation because explanation is needed here. So all the given option are related to right to privacy As per International Covenant on Civil and Political Right, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary or unlawful interference with his privacy, family, or correspondence, nor to unlawful attack on his honor and reputation. As per the Article 12 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his privacy, family, home, correspondence, nor attack upon his honor and reputation. As per Article 21 of Indian Constitution, right to life and personal liberties. Okay, right to privacy is a right to be let alone. Okay, so a citizen has right to safeguard and privacy of his own, his family, marriage, procreation, motherhood, childbearing, and education, among other matter. If we talk about Article 8 of European Convention of Human Rights, everyone has right to respect for his private and family life, his home and correspondence. So students, this is going to help you in means. Okay, now these three conventions you have to read with your own sources. Okay, now see the next question. It was in UPSC 2019. Which article of Indian Constitution safeguard one's right to marry the person of one choice? So right to marry means you are free to marry with anyone. Article 19, 21, 25 and 29 students. So it is the fundamental right to life and personal liberties. So right to marry is a person's choice under Article 21 of Indian Constitution. Supreme Court in Hadia case observed that the choice of partner, whether within or outside marriage, lies within the exclusive domain of each individual. Intimacies of marriage lies within a core zone of privacy, which is inviolable. Okay, so now see the knowledge plus for the same. Basically, Francis Corley Moline versus the administrator 1981, Justice P. Bhagwati had said that Article 21 embodies a constitutional value of supreme importance in a democratic society. Students, getting it? Easy. Now see the question number 21. Which one of the following statement is about the personal liberty is not correct? Not correct. It was in UPSC 2021. Once again, students, they want to know about the personal liberty. More conceptual information required. So state does not have the authority to deprive anyone's person within the territory of India or his or her personal life without any rational basis. Okay, so basis of depriving a person of his personal liberty must be in accordance with the procedure established by law. So this is also correct. Personal liberty can be secured by judicial writ of habeas corpus. Okay, so the majority view of Supreme Court in A.K. Gopalan case versus basically state of Madras invented due process of law. So what is right answer for the same, students? Okay, so state does not have authority to deprive anyone's person within the territory of India his personal liberty without the rational basis. Statement A is correct. Basis of depriving a person his or her personal liberty must be in accordance with the procedure established by law. Yes, it is also correct. Personal liberty can be secured by the judicial writ, that is habeas corpus. It was not means there's a majority view of Supreme Court in A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras case invented the due process of law. So students, it was invalid at that time. Okay, so just see here what we following procedure established by law. So statement D is not correct about the personal liberties because in the A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras case, Supreme Court denied basically recognizing the deficiency of procedure established by law, and due process of law are rejected by the court. Okay, so this is one thing. However, this was reversed in the case of Menka Gandhi versus Union of India 1978. Okay, now see the 22nd question. Which article of Indian Constitution doctrine duty the due process of law? Now students, procedure established by law, what does it means? And due process of law. So procedure established by law means that, let's suppose someone is going to be punished, okay? So in that case, if it is legally, means what the rule have, means rule is there, if it is done according to the rule, then court will say yes, it is okay. And in the due process of law, students, basically court will check ki whether this punishment or what the activity done by the officials, is it according to law? Along with that, students, this law is also going to be checked, it is okay or not. If it is violating the constitutional